Not what he could do with that weapon hidden away in his pants. Meanwhile, the match below was like history repeating itself once again, as Gaara had appeared on the arena floor, and Uchiha Sasuke had not. This did not sit well with the future clients and daimyos watching things unfold from their position in the stands. Some people were booing the Uchiha for not showing, while many Konoha-born people grew concerned something might have happened to the boy, and others suspecting Naruto had a hand in it. Not that Naruto cared, since he would kill the Uchiha in these exams and stick it to Konoha in the worst way possible, with no way for them to get back at him. Not legally, anyway. Uchiha Sasuke is not here, and therefore disqualified. The winner of the match is Sabaku no Gaara. Will Aburame Shino and Uzumaki Naruto come down to the arena floor? Said Genma, after waiting long enough for Sasuke to get here for his match. Looks like we're up, Shino, said Naruto, with the Aburame having a pensive look on his face. I forfeit, said Shino, knowing it was only logical for him to do that right now. His insects didn't stand a chance against Naruto's power, and that was what everyone had seen so far. Who knows what else the Uzumaki had up his sleeve? Smart man, said Naruto, before seeing Temari looking at her brother waiting for a match. I'm going to forfeit too. My brother is not squeamish should he decide to kill a member of his family, said Temari, with Naruto nodding in understand. Oh, that's just great. Fine, will Sabaku no Gaara and Uzumaki Naruto come down here to face each other, said Genma with a sigh, and hoped no one else forfeit. Showtime, said Naruto before he jumped out of the fighter's box and landed loudly on the ground to cause a crater in the process and shook the stadium. You will prove my existence and die regardless of your power, said Gaara, who was now grinning, and finding his blood rushing through him faster than it had in a long time. Of course, the fight between them was interrupted when Uchiha Sasuke finally arrived, and with Hatake Kakashi right behind in a swirl of leaves. Though compared to Naruto's entrance, they looked kind of bland and boring in a sense where no one really went wow at the sight of them. Are we late? Said Kakashi with a smile on the unmasked part of his face, and Genma just sighed at the man. Not only are you late, but Sasuke's match was postponed, and when you didn't show up with him for his second chance, I had to disqualify the Uchiha, said Genma, seeing both Sasuke and Kakashi were shocked by this. Well, Kakashi was shocked, but Sasuke was pissed off, and the Uchiha looked ready to kill someone. Well, at least that loser of mine for a teammate didn't advance in his match against Neji. I bet the Hyuga hurt that pathetic excuse of a shinobi no badly that he cried and pissed himself, said Sasuke, letting out a cruel chuckle. Only to be surpassed by a cruel laughter coming from a helmeted figure, and the burning crimson eyes made the hairs on the back of Kakashi's head stand up. You would be losing that bet, Uchiha. Neji fell in battle by my hands. Painfully, I might add, said Naruto with Sasuke, looking at him with disbelief. Naruto, said Kakashi, while Naruto just grinned further with his fangs showing. Impossible. You are not that dead, last loser, said Sasuke, seeing what Naruto now was and felt should be rightfully his own power. If you're so confident, then back it up and take me down yourself, Sasuke, said Naruto, with the Uchiha charging forward blindly and hitting him with a punch to the stomach, only to cry out in pain. Ah! Oh! Yelled Sasuke, as he held his now broken right hand, and hearing Naruto laughing at him. Foolish. Your strength, what little there was of it in your possession, has failed, and are no longer even remotely close to my league, said Naruto with his arms crossed in front of him. Shut up! I don't care what kind of power you possess. I will always be better than you, loser. This village will always love me over your worthless self any day of the week. My finger has more value than your whole body, said Sasuke, while Naruto just smirked at him. Is that so? Said Naruto, his grin reaching from one ear to the next. 100%, said Sasuke, while Kakashi was still looking in disbelief at what had become of Naruto. Then let's test your little theory, said Naruto before his body glowed red for a second and a shoulder strike at the Uchiha that sent the boy through the stadium wall. "Ski," said Kakashi before glaring at Naruto. "Looks like you were wrong about me being a weak and pathetic hot take. What was it you said? You didn't want to risk your reputation on teaching a no-talented person like myself. That I would lose to Hyuga Neji, and therefore not worth your time. I am in the last match of the chunin exam finals. I crushed my enemy without your help, my so-called sensei, and after today I won't need any of your so-called training. After this tournament is over," said Naruto, letting out a cruel laughter that echoed throughout the stadium. "What do you mean by that? You are a genin unless promoted by the Hokage himself to chunin," said Kakashi, while Naruto just grinned while looking back at the Sandane. He may portray himself to be a dragon with his title, but that man is really just a toothless worm, said Naruto, seeing Kakashi looking at him in shock, and everyone else hearing that. "How dare you disrespect the Sandame," said Kakashi before an explosion was heard in the cage's booth and around the village. "I'm going to do more than disrespect the old man on a verbal level, Hatake. I'm going to show my power to these weak fools in Konoha, and when I do, the village will fear me now. Not the other way around," said Naruto, with Gaara trying to go along with his part of the plan to awaken Shukaku through the genjutsu a certain bespectacled subordinate of Orochimaru was unleashing on the stadium. "Gaara, hurry," said Temari, with Kankuro and Baki appearing to cover his flank. "Now see what this no-talented shinobi you didn't want to tarnish your reputation can do, Hatake," said Naruto before forming a light spear and throwing it at Gaara with the red projectile piercing the sand into the red-haired boy's shoulder. "Gaara!" cried Temari, seeing his sand fall apart and her youngest brother bleeding from the energy weapon's point of entry. "My blood! I'm bleeding!" yelled Gaara frantically, having seen the crimson liquid coming out of his body with his own 2 eyes. "He's mine," said Kankuro, bringing out his puppets, but no sooner had they been let out were they destroyed violently by the immense strength Naruto unleashed on them, and finally punching Suna's puppet master prodigy in the face to send him flying. "We need to get Gaara out of here," said Baki, turning to Temari, who nodded at him and tried to move her little brother clutching his bleeding shoulder. "So noble. I wonder if you are giving that order because you care about him as a person, or if you care about him as your weapon," said Naruto, grabbing Baki by the throat and lifting him up off the ground. "What does it matter to you? You are a Jinchuriki too. Suna knew about you before this happened. Why do you think the Kazekage agreed to strike out against Konoha? He knew you were weak. That Konoha was foolish in their efforts to keep you under their thumb by making a weak weapon out of their Jinchuriki," said Baki while Naruto rolled his eyes at him. "Your Kazekage was right about one thing. Konoha was foolish in their efforts to keep me under their thumb. Of that much you are indeed correct, Suna Junin. But make no mistake about it when I tell you I am far from weak, and this world will soon know that fact," said Naruto before crushing the man's windpipe and threw him away like he was nothing. Looking at the cage's booth, Naruto saw there was a fight going on between the Hokage and Orochimaru, using his impersonation of the Kazekage to get close to the old man. In the stands, Suna and Sound Shinobi were fighting the leaf forces there that wouldn't fall under the sleep-inducing genjutsu. Grinning at this golden opportunity, Naruto decided to let Temari escape with Gaara and a severely concussed Kankuro, while unleashing his fury on the people in the stands. "This is the best chunin exams ever," said Anko, as she killed 2 Suna shinobi with her snakes, and 1 Sound shinobi when her kunai pierced his skull. "Anko!" chided Kurenai while shaking her head at the special Junin's love for violence, and wondered if anyone had the power to tame the crazy woman. "What? This is what it's all about, Kure-chan? The fighting, the killing, and surviving to see another day," said Anko simply, with Kurenai looking to say something else. But a mighty battle roar was heard above them, and upon looking up saw Uzumaki Naruto descending down on their location with his wrath hammer, with a dragon symbol on the side in his hands. "What the hell?" said Kurenai before she and Anko leaped out of the way before Naruto landed, causing a great deal of damage to the stands upon impact. "You asshole! You almost killed us," said Anko with a pissed-off look on her face. "But I didn't, did I?" said Naruto before swinging his wrath hammer at a Suna shinobi, followed by a sound shinobi, 2 more of them, and then 3 more from Suna fell from get hit by his weapon. "That's not the point," said Anko before she kicked one Suna shinobi between the legs and moved to kick Naruto's ass, until she saw the pile of bodies and splatters of blood that surrounded him. "No. The point is that you saw me heading your way. You dodged, you survived, and look sexy killing these weak fools," said Naruto before he performed charging spikes, and had caused the group of shinobi that were hit become shredded from his jagged armor, plating on his body. "He's a violent asshole who is causing bodily harm to anyone caught in his crosshairs, and no one is safe from him," said Anko simply, while Kurenai and herself saw him put his fist through an enemy shinobi's chest. "And," said Kurenai, while seeing Naruto kick another man in the stomach with enough force to send the poor bastard through 3 walls and have a piece of it fall on his head to cause the killing blow. "And I want him so badly right now," whined Anko, while Kurenai's sweat dropped. "Later, Anko. We have to defend Konoha right now," said Kurenai with Anko pouting at first, but soon got into it and began to defend the village from its enemies. "Out of my way," said Naruto as he was smacking around everyone, and anyone that was getting in his path to the cage booth currently being surrounded by a purple barrier on the tiled building. "Look at him go," said Asuma before taking down 2 Suna shinobi with his 2 trench knives. "Yosh! Naruto-san is really showing off his springtime of youth," said Guy while spin-kicking a sound shinobi into a nearby wall. "That's not the only thing he's showing off," said Tenten, as she saw his wrath hammer and his skill with it. Making his way to the Kage's booth, Naruto saw the barrier was standing in his way and created by those 4 individuals at each corner, each one hand-picked by Orochimaru to be his bodyguards and loyal to the end of their days, depending on their conditioning of their training by him. "What are you doing here?" said a Leaf Anbu captain with his team trying to figure out a way to get through the barrier. "Doing your job, you pathetic weakling," said Naruto, while seeing the old man was taking on the 2 previous Hokages, while the Sannin watched with amusement. Until Naruto came into view. "You," said Orochimaru, while seeing the weapon of choice in his hands. "You were expecting one of the Elder Gods," said Naruto before swinging his wrath hammer into the barrier, and make the wall he hit shatter on contact. "That's not possible," said Orochimaru, as Naruto walked through the massive hole, and with Anbu doing the same to assist their Hokage in battle. "I am Uzumaki Naruto, and I specialize in doing the impossible," said Naruto before he created a light spear, and throwing it at the Shodame Hokage with the literal energy weapon, pierced the man's skull before turning the man into ash, due to the tag in his head being destroyed. "What did you do?" said Orochimaru, as he never considered his puppets would have their strings cut in such a simple way. "For a supposed genius, you really are dumb," said Naruto before he repeated the process with the Sanding Hokage's second predecessor to the title. "Thank you, Naruto! Cried the Sandane, as he was punched hard in the face by the very person who just saved his life, and was shocked, like everyone else, by this. "You and I are going to have a long talk about your actions regarding me, old man. Make no mistake about it," said Naruto with his eyes burning with fury before turning his full attention to Orochimaru. "Retreat," said Orochimaru before he began to flee with his bodyguards. "Coward," said Naruto as he threw his wrath hammer at the Sannin and struck true in the back to cause him to drop like a stone onto the ground. "Orochimaru-sama," said one of the Sound 4 with extra limbs that reminded Naruto of the Shao Khan, though it was clear the man wasn't one of their kin in any shape or form. The Sound 4 tried to intercept Naruto, but they were attacked by the senseis of the Rookie 9, and Guy, while the young warrior descendant of Shao Khan, landed in front of the downed Sannin, the impact of the wrath hammer nearly breaking his spine while shattering the bones in his shoulders, and to stop any movement in his arms altogether. He couldn't move much with the damage inflicted while taking considerable effort to get onto his knees. But Naruto was not one for taking chances with the Sannin, and walked slowly towards the man with caution should he try something. And try he did. The man's face shot up and shot out a long blade from a sword from his mouth. Intent on killing this genin, ranked nothing that had ruined everything for him, and ruining years of planning his revenge. All the scheming, the preparations, and hard work were destroyed in a single day by this Uzumaki brat standing before him. However, the boy was expecting something and moved faster than the Sannin thought possible before feeling a nearly skull-crushing pressure from hand now on his face. "Your soul is mine," said Naruto, having been taught the deadly art by Shao Khan before ripping the man's soul from his body and into his own, with the Sannin screaming out in agonizing pain in the process. Those watching this event unfold, Konoha, Suna, and Sound Shinobi, could only look on in horror at the sight of Orochimaru's soul, which many questioned if he even had one in the first place, leave his body to enter Naruto's own. The body of the Sannin fell down dead, his bodyguards now screaming in pain from the cursed seals burning away at their master's death. And even Anko herself was feeling the failed mark of her former teacher burning away. Seeing the Kusanagi sword amongst the now quickly decaying body of Orochimaru, the Uzumaki picked it up and examined the blade while finding it would be a useful addition to his arsenal. "Orochimaru, my old student," said the Sandaime mournfully, while in disbelief at seeing Orochimaru's body falling apart and Naruto standing over it. "Pathetic," said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime focus on him now with a slight scowl. "Show your respect for the dead, Naruto." "You could at least do that," said the Sandaime while Naruto just laughed at him. "Me, show respect to the likes of him, like you showed respect for my father's dying wish," said Naruto, seeing the Sandaime flinch at him. "How did you know? How did you find out?" said the Sandaime while Naruto scowled and narrowed his eyes at the old cage. "It doesn't matter how I know. What matters is that everyone in this village pays for their actions against me. Starting with you," said Naruto before he was in the Sandaime's now surprised face, and punched the man in the stomach to make the Hokage fall to his knees before throwing up. "And Naruto, stop, I beg of you," said the Sandaime before he was lifted up his neck. The feeling of the punch rivaled Tsunade, and his fight with his former student, along with the previous two Hokages, had sapped his strength dry. "This village's pathetic arrogance and their ignorance no longer shackles me. All these years, you along with the rest of them have fought to keep me under your control and deny what is rightfully mine." "Not this time, old fool," said Naruto, as he punched the Sandaime in the face, then backhanded him and threw the cage into the stadium wall with enough force to create a spiderweb crack. I had no choice. It needed to be done. It was for the good of the village. The world needed to be protected from the child of prophecy. "It's the reason why the elder god Raiden came and informed me of what needed to be done," said the Sandaime, trying to get up, but was kneed in the chest and then grabbed by the back of his battle uniform before being spun around into the wall again, only going through the damaged part of the stadium. Pathetic effort from an incompetent deity to bind what cannot be bound to his rules, said Naruto simply before summoning his Wrath Hammer. "Please stop, Naruto. Show mercy," said the Sandaime, crawling away from the boy he had wronged. "Like the village showed me," said Naruto before he was surrounded on all sides by Ambu and a man he had never seen before with long white hair standing protectively over the Sandaime. "Stop, Naruto. This is getting out of hand," said the figure with Naruto, looking less than impressed and pleased by the interruption. "And who are you to command me?" said Naruto with rage growing in his eyes. "I'm Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin, and I'm your godfather," said Jiraiya with Naruto's eyes widening before they narrowed, and the rage in them increased exponentially. "I see. So it wasn't enough the old man denies me my heritage, but you abandoned me to a life of torment in this village, and only now come back here to save him," said Naruto, pointing to the still-downed Hokage. "What are you talking about?" The Sandime told me you were loved in the village, that you were being trained to the best of your abilities each time I visited to report what I learned from my spy network, said Jiraiya before looking back at the ashamed face of the Hokage. It seems you were being deceived as well by the old man. Whatever he told you was a complete lie, said Naruto with a hollow tone of amusement in his voice. Sensei, what is going on? You told me he was loved here in Konoha. You told me the Yondame's dying wish was being honored, that Naruto was being properly protected from his father's enemies, said Jiraiya with the Sandame looking away from his second of 3 students, while Naruto laughed. Loved. Protected. I have received none of those things from this village except from a few people, and on fewer occasions. No doubt thanks to him, said Naruto, pointing at the Sandame with his wrath hammer. Still, I can't let you kill him, Naruto. The invasion is over. I took down Sabaku no Gaara, and his siblings are currently being detained for the moment, said Jiraiya, having done his own bit of fighting during the invasion. Meanwhile, Naruto, looking less than pleased by the Sanin's words, and looked down at the severely injured Kage, the sage was standing over. Now was not the time to deal with either of them, as he had other matters to attend to, and the enemy at the walls was one of them. We will settle this another time, old man. Consider this small beating a mere prelude to the fury I will unleash on you at a later time. For now, I have some pests to remove from my village, said Naruto before he left to fight the now fleeing allied forces. Sensei, you have some serious explaining to do, and unless I get the whole truth from your mouth, I am going to let him finish you off, said Jiraiya while holding back his own fury at the old man. The Sandame sighed, his age catching up to him now, and felt things were only going to get worse from here on out. Chapter 3. Blood Splatter. Konoha spent the next week recovering from the attack by the allied forces led by the now dead Orochimaru of the Sannin, who killed the Kazekage to impersonate him, and tricked the alley of Konoha to attack. Now things were trying to get figured out, negations being made with Sabaku, no Kankuro doing them, while Jiraiya spent his time with Gaara in fixing his seal so the boy would be more stable, and finally be able to sleep. There were those in Konoha who opposed the new alliance treaty between the 2 villages, as they felt reparations should be made by Suna, and at a hefty price. Jiraiya, who had been acting as temporary Gondame Hokage due to the Sandame's injuries, and the seemingly declining health of his sensei, helped keep the peace. Kankuro had told Jiraiya why Suna did what they did, as the wind Daimyo was bleeding them dry, and would not change his mind in his action for giving missions to Konoha over Suna. How Orochimaru had spoken with honey-filled words into the Kazekage's ear, about making Suna great once again, and using Gaara in the process, would make the village grand like it had been in the past. Jiraiya could understand. He also had been digging through the Sandame's papers, seeing the Kazekage had asked the Hokage to intervene on his behalf to stop the Wind Daimyo from killing his village. However, the Sandame had apparently ignored the pleas of the Kazekage by ignoring the message, and not sending any message to the feudal lord of Wind. Jiraiya realized that his sensei saw Suna getting stronger with Gaara being their Jinchuriki, who was getting stronger with each passing year in using the One-Tail's power, while Naruto couldn't tap into his at all, due to their seals being completely different, and the Hokage had taken the route of weakening Suna to compensate for this. That one side needed the other to live, but Orochimaru had offered to provide support to Suna, and tipped the balance of power in the Kazekage's favor. Everything else the Kazekage did was to make sure that things stayed in Suna's favor long afterwards, despite how the method it was achieved. Though Naruto had thrown a monkey wrench into the whole plan upon his arrival into the chunin exam finals, and killed Orochimaru. After the Kazekage's siblings were detained, Naruto actually paid them a visit before the Toad Sannin talked to any of them. Though Jiraiya didn't know what they talked about, since the guards watching them were on the ground with broken bones in various places, and too much in pain to pay attention. Regardless of whatever they talked about, it had Kankuro moving to begin negotiations right away, and Temari with a blush on her face, after Naruto left with a smirk on his face. "See you in a few years, Temari-chan." I'm looking forward to our eventual date, and that's something." Those were the only words spoken by him to the eldest of the Suna siblings, while leaving them to talk amongst themselves. Speaking of Naruto, the Toad Sannin had been less than pleased with how the boy was treated in Konoha after learning of it by his own snooping around, and the records he procured to prove the abuse was in fact true. It made the Sannin's blood boil and cursed his sensei for bowing to the whims of the councils, along with this elder god Raiden. Jiraiya didn't understand the whole story, but it further proved to him the child of prophecy was more than likely Naruto, and the boy was setting out to destroy the shinobi way, rather than to save it. Had Jiraiya been able to raise the child like he hoped, the Sannin would have tried to steer the boy into saving it from destruction, and bring about everlasting peace. Sadly, the old adage of "there can be no peace without war" sprung up in his mind, and that was what seemed to be in Naruto's mind too. The way the boy now looked, walked, and fought was that of a warlord seeking to carve his name into the world, to forge an empire and build over the bodies of his very dead enemies. "What happened to you, Naruto?" said Jiraiya to himself, while wondering how he could make this right for his godson. Jiraiya himself couldn't be permanent Hokage due to his responsibilities to his godson, not to mention his spy network required he move around and meet up with his contacts. He dare not give the Sandaime back the position of Hokage, as his sensei didn't have the strength for it anymore, and it proved to be true when visiting the man in the hospital. The once great kami of shinobi looked old, his face showed as much, and the man's eyes looked tired from doing this line of work the job entailed. And Jiraiya could only pity him. The Sandaime had confessed everything to him, about his actions against Naruto, about the elder god Raiden visiting, informing the Hokage of the boy potential, and the threat he was to the world if reached. The fact Naruto was the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi made it all the more imperative that the last Uzumaki, in possibly the known world, was to be kept on a tightly collared leash. They could yank hard when required. The lives in Konoha and the entire world were at stake with this child of prophecy holding so much power inside of him. The boy's life does not outweigh the village's and the world's, Jiraiya. Sooner or later you will come to realize that. That was what the Sandaime said to him at the hospital. Jiraiya called him and this elder god foolish in return, since they had caused this situation with Naruto, resenting Konoha to happen. That the boy chose to fight against the leaf with his power, then to fight for it when given the choice laid out before him. And the only reason Naruto was still in Konoha was to make the village the heart of something greater. For what exactly, Jiraiya didn't know or fathom at this point, thanks to a certain retired again Hokage keeping the Sannin away from Naruto. It would have been more merciful to let Orochimaru kill their former sensei at this point, and Jiraiya was sure Hiruzen would agree with him. With Naruto wasn't surprised when he went to his apartment building to find it destroyed, and even less surprised when seeing it was done at the hands of the people of Konoha, instead of its very enemies that invaded not that long ago. The crowd of civilians and some of the shinobi of Konoha were all cheering at destroying the demon's lair with him now being homeless, like some of them were. Many expected the boy to weep, cry, and wallow in despair at the loss of his home, with the only choice left for Naruto was to sleep in the alleyways, to beg someone to let him stay the night, and even if they did, it would come at a price that would make hotels seem cheap by comparison. However, this was not the Uzumaki Naruto they knew him to be due to their memories lacking short-term. And even if he was the name Naruto they supposedly knew, he would rather sleep in the alleyway than sleep one day in their houses for a hefty financial fee he would most likely couldn't afford. So when Naruto made his presence known, they all smirked and taunted him about the loss of his home. He responded back by leaving those responsible either dead or so severely injured that they would wish death had claimed them. Some shinobi arrived on the scene demanding he surrender for the attack on the people, and shinobi lying on the ground around them. Naruto just made a come-get-me hand motion with the squad in front of him being hesitant to engage in battle, and it made the son of the Yondaime laugh at their cowardice before leaving them to collect those still barely alive. So where was he now? Well, yes, fuck me. Fuck me, Naruto-kun, yelled Anko, as she was in her own place of residence and getting plowed from behind by the Uzumaki. Yes, that's right. Naruto was fucking Mitarashi Anko. How did this happen? Well, after Naruto killed Orochimaru, the curse seals on all his victims, which included one Uchiha Sasuke despite his desire for it to stay. The special Chunin had been so happy at finally being freed from Orochimaru's control, and all thanks to Naruto. If that wasn't enough, Anko practically creamed her panties when learning how the Sannin died when Naruto ripped out his soul and devoured it into his body. After Naruto lost his place to live in thanks to the ingrates of Konoha he had saved, only to maim them for their stupid actions against him, Anko offered the future emperor a place to crash, and with no financial fee to it attached. Just the sexual kind, and Naruto paid her well in that regard. His time in Outworld had allowed the young shinobi turned future warlord of Earthrealm to enjoy the pleasures of the flesh from the slave girls and female servants in Shao Khan's palace. His merger with Kyuubi had brought out all sorts of urges, memories of times before being sealed away ages ago, where the fox would take a human form to rut with a woman, and knew which spots to hit for a woman to scream out in pleasure. He had made many beautiful women in Outworld yearn for his touch from his many nights with them. That's it, Anko-chan. Moan out for me. Cry out for more. Tell me how much you want it, said Naruto, as he thrust harder and faster with the special Junin's eyes rolling back into her head. I'm coming! I'm fucking coming! Screamed Anko as she cried out, and came hard while Naruto did the same before they collapsed on the barely holding bed. Several days of doing this for hours on end each time will do that. At this rate, you're going to need a new bed, said Naruto, while Anko moaned with the sound coming from her throat saying she agreed. Well, worth it, said Anko while breathing heavily while looking back at him before she rolled over to be on top of him. Agreed, said Naruto while she rested her sweaty body against his own. There is another reason behind our agreement to stay here, said Anko while she saw Naruto look at her with a raised eyebrow. Really? Said Naruto, seeing Anko nod with her face looking surprisingly calm and a hint of seriousness. It's just, I have hated Orochimaru my whole life. Ever since I was dropped like a sack of shit on Konoha's doorsteps by him, with no solid memories of how it happened. I tried to prove I was loyal to the Leaf, that I wasn't him. That I wasn't some kind of sleeper agent intent on destroying the village like he wanted to, since the event that caused him to flee. I hear the names Snake Slut, Snake Whore, Traitor's Student, and so many other things that there were times I thought about running away, said Anko while feeling his strong yet surprisingly gentle touch across her sweaty back, and moaned at the touch. Why didn't you run away? Said Naruto curiously, while Anko kissed his muscled upper torso. Where could I go? I had nothing but the clothes on my back, and so strapped for cash the only way to get it to escape would be to whore myself out to anyone willing to pay. I was too young for that anyway, and I wasn't going to start making their names for me become true. Yeah, I'm bloodthirsty, violent, and sadistic in my job. So what? I'm a shinobi. It's in the job description, and one of the specific profession within the job itself requires I be cruel to my enemies, said Anko while kissing his body more aggressively. That doesn't explain your other reason for this arrangement of yours, said Naruto with a chuckle, and Anko grinned sheepishly. Sorry. The other reason I mentioned is because I want to express my thanks for killing Orochimaru. I had wished for him to die an agonizing death for what he did to me, said Anko while seeing him smirk at her. Well, there is nothing more painful than having your soul ripped out, said Naruto, seeing Anko grinning seductively at him while sitting up completely while straddling his hips. I believe you. I swore to myself that I would be the fuck toy, slut, concubine, whatever you want to call me, in all but name to the person capable of killing him, and do whatever you ask of them. So I wish to state for the record that I am yours. Only yours. You can have me anywhere at any time. My body is your reward to you for killing Orochimaru, said Anko as she began moving her hips, and moaned loudly, knowing it would get him geared up for another round. "You really want my rent, don't you, Anko-chan?" said Naruto, while groping both of her breasts, and loved how the woman moaned under his touch. "You've been so generous already. Is it too much to ask for a little bit more?" said Anko with an innocent look on her face that was hardly innocent. "Not at all, though you will be. Blush for some time," said Naruto with Anko now slowly riding him while moaning from it. "I like the sound of that," said Anko grinning, while she moved faster with Naruto still groping her breasts to further bring about pleasure. She could get used to this. Hokage Tower sometime later. Naruto walked to the meeting room with a purpose in his step, as Jiraiya wanted to speak with him about what happened during the month prior taught he chunin exams, and just what he had done during all the fighting. The only reason he agreed to this meeting with Jiraiya, as he was the acting temporary Hokage at the moment, and the councils along with the clan heads seeking answers to their questions too. What bothered him was the council's bitching, complaining, and basically being their usual selves in regards to his own life. They'll probably bitch just over what I did to Sasuke and demand I surrender my power over to the jerk. Not to mention Kakashi will want to say something about my actions, and I doubt being made a chunin is in the cards at this moment. Not that I care about that, since I'm stronger than most of the shinobi in this village thanks to Shao Khan's training and the battles fought in his arena. Damn. Is it me, or does Shieva look sexy in that one-piece bikini attire? Thought Naruto with a smirk on his face, but shook those things away, and decided to focus on the task at hand with this meeting. "Welcome to the meeting, Naruto," said Jiraiya, while those on the council scowled or sneered, with the clan heads looking at him with respect. Considering all that he's done recently, Naruto felt it was about damn time. "You asked me to come here for this meeting," said Naruto with his arms crossed in front of him. "Commanded," said Danzo while stomping his cane once when emphasizing the word. "I don't take orders from you, old fool. Now why am I here?" said Naruto with Danzo now glaring at the boy for his disrespect. "You are here because we simply wish to know what happened in the 1 month prior to the chunin exams," said Jiraiya while sending a glance at Danzo and the councils to shut their mouths. "If you must know, I was with my forefather in the realm known as Outworld, which is ruled by the Emperor Shao Khan, and he was teacher during my stay in his palace," said Naruto simply, while the councils began yelling at him for lying about such nonsense. "Silence. Naruto, please continue," said Jiraiya while Naruto smirked at them all. "After the chunin exam prelims ended, I sought out Hatake Kakashi at the hospital to train me in order to fight Neji in the finals, but the bastard thought I was without talent and would stain his reputation when I lost. If anything, his reputation was stained the very moment he began showing favoritism to the Uchiha, and training the prick without considering his other students," said Naruto with the councils again going up in arms about him and his bad-mouthing Sasuke for his actions. "Despite it being true, that still doesn't explain your sudden growth, your new powers, and everything else you did during the invasion," said Homura while Naruto just laughed at him. "I was getting there before I was interrupted. You say I don't have any manners, yet your own actions would be considered rude to others, and people would think of you the same way you do me. Not that it matters. As for what happened next, it's pretty straightforward. As we argued, I left Kakashi to pamper the Uchiha, and was then ambushed by a bunch of Konoha shinobi, wanting to ensure I never made it to the chunin exam finals. They even mentioned something about getting the Hyuga clan's favor before one struck me in the head, and I went unconscious," said Naruto, while many glanced at Hayashi and wondered if anyone in the clan had influenced the attack. "Heads are going to roll in my house if the elders decided to do anything," thought Hayashi, knowing his own inquiry would be needed to clear his clan of this whole mess. The next thing I knew, I found myself in Outworld recovering from my injuries, which from what I learned weren't healing from using Kyuubi's chakra since Orochimaru cut off the tap when I fought him in the Forest of Death. After Shao Khan told me where I was, he wanted to train me for the chunin exams, and it was then I was told of our bloodline connection," said Naruto, seeing many go pale since they thought the boy they hated was nothing more than orphan trash from some no-named whore for a mother. Bloodline connection, said Shikaku, who was paying attention now, and looked wide awake for once. Yes, it seems the Sage of Six Paths was in fact his son, taken after his birth straight to Earthrealm by the Thunder God Raiden to be its protector from his vassire, should the Emperor wish to invade the realm. Meaning that I am the long-lined descendant of the Sage of Six Paths and Emperor Shao Khan of Outworld, said Naruto, seeing jaws drop and back go stiff in fear of him. And rightfully so when considering everything that has happened. So you're saying that you have royal blood in your veins, said Hayashi, with Naruto just nodding yes to the question. I will not believe such a claim is true. There is no way that Kyuubi Jinchuriki is of royal blood. He is trash, said a member of the civilian council. I am the legacy of an emperor. Whether or not a weak fool like yourself believe it to be true doesn't concern me, said Naruto, seeing the councilman seething with his face red with anger. Jiraiya, you should check the seal to ensure Kyuubi is not influencing him. His power is unnatural, said Koharu, while Naruto laughed in a boisterous manner. Kurama, or as you know him as Kyuubi, is no longer sealed within me. We have merged together during my time in Outworld, thanks to the Emperor's powers, explained Naruto, making the councils yelling at Jiraiya to kill or subdue him for becoming the demon they all hated. He's a demon! Kill him! Kill him, said a civilian council member while pointing at Naruto. Put him on trial for crimes against Konoha and the Uchiha, said another person. Enough. What is with you people and your lack of intelligence? The Sandaime may have bowed to your whims in keeping the boy's potential locked away. But I won't be your puppet, and I'm damn going to make sure Naruto isn't either, said Jiraiya, while Naruto smirked more since he could kill these fools right now. But was holding back that idea for the moment since the time wasn't right, and he had to be patient to get the things he needed. But, Jiraiya-sama, this demonic abomination is a threat to all of Konoha. Our very way of lives are at stake, said Homura, while the Sannin scowled at him, and noticed Danzo was staring intently at Naruto with a calculating eye. My eye has no effect on him. Damn it! Thought Danzo, while wondering how that was even possible given his harvested Sharingan eye behind his bandage had an influential ability over others. You mean he's a threat to all of you? Those here who have spit on the dying wish of the Yondaime himself regarding the boy. His parents would kill you all slowly and painfully if they were alive today upon learning of the abuse Naruto went through, said Jiraiya, as he saw the councils scoff at the mention of the Yondaime while the clan heads glared at them. Not to change the subject here, but I need to ask you this, Jiraiya-san. What is to become of the position of Hokage? You are only temporary in regards to the position, said Chibi, since Jiraiya was needed elsewhere, and everywhere around the elemental countries. Simple. I'm going to find a proper replacement for the Sandaime since Sensei is clearly too old for the job, said Jiraiya, seeing Danzo scowl at this. Who? Why not just name Danzo? He was the Sandaime's rival after all, said someone on the civilian council's side. Back when they were both young. If the Sandaime is too old to be Hokage, then so is the cripple, and that is that, said Tsume, as she had no love for the Sandaime regarding how the old man let the village hurt Naruto, and even less for Danzo with his warring ways without any regard for his subordinate. Damn. Inuzuka bitch, thought Danzo, making a mental note to cripple the Inuzuka clan when he eventually began Hokage in the near future. Who do you have in mind, Jiraiya? Said Inoichi, with Jiraiya smirking at him. My old teammate Senju Tsunade, said Jiraiya, with the councils going nuts again until Naruto had enough and swung his wrath hammer down on the meeting room table to shut them up. The next one who speaks will know my wrath, said Naruto, seeing many looking at the wrath hammer and sweating heavily. They had seen what it could do after all. Note to self. Beg Uzumaki-san to never show that hammer to my wife. Also ask him to turn down any request by my wife to make one for her, thought Shikaku, knowing that in the hands of his wife would spell doom for him and his son. Holy crap, that's big! thought Sum, seeing Naruto swing that heavy weapon like it was nothing. Now, if only she were a few years younger. Are you done here? I have things to do, said Naruto, seeing the councils wanting him to stay so they could yell some more. But Jiraiya just nodded, and knew they would talk again without the idiots in the room. Jiraiya, you must do something to keep him contained, or controlled in some manner to prevent the demon from turning on us, said Homura, seeing Jiraiya scoff at them. Like what? You saw what he did at the chunin exams. He killed the enemy shinobi left and right that were invading. Not to mention he killed Orochimaru by devouring his soul. I like mine where it is, thank you very much, said Jiraiya with a hint of humor in his voice. Still, he is the village's weapon, and must be controlled. That is his purpose, said Danzo while Jiraiya rolled his eyes. Like Suna did with the Kazekage's youngest. They twisted that poor boy's mind like a wind-up toy to the point where he snapped and went insane, said Jiraiya with Danzo shrugging. A weapon is a weapon. It has a master regardless of its lack of sanity, and the master is the one controlling the weapon. The Kazekage did not have proper control, and this is the end result, said Danzo causally. And you still wonder why Sensei's sensei didn't nominate you for being Hokage. Ha! Said Jiraiya before adjourning the meeting with Danzo being forced to take the jab at his pride. Akatsuki HQ. This information is accurate, said one figure among 8 others, and addressing them like a leader should. Yes, Pain-sama. Naruto killed Orochimaru during the Sanin's failed attack on Konoha. Apparently, he ripped out his soul, said Itachi, seeing some of the members of the group look concerned by that. How is that possible? You told me the boy was neglected since birth. He should be weak like all Jinchuriki his age, said Conan with Itachi shaking his head. I don't know. Sabaku no Gaara is considered the strongest in Suna outside of his father, and is the current Jinchuriki of the one-tailed Shukaku. He was injured by Naruto before Jiraiya of the Sannin took him down in his weakened condition to stabilize the seal. After that, Naruto apparently jumped into the heart of the fighting in the stadium, and then took down the barrier Orochimaru's bodyguards set up to trap the Sannin Hokage so they could settle old scores. The Sannin tried to flee, but Naruto injured him, and upon making contact with him, ripped out Orochimaru's soul, said Itachi while feeling a bit nervous himself at the idea of facing Naruto, and the Uzumaki Jinchuriki doing the same to his own soul, no matter how stained it was with the blood he had spilled. This has become problematic. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki is stronger than we ever thought possible. We need to grab him now before it's too late. Itachi, you will go with Kisame and capture the vessel immediately, said Pain with the 2 bowing, and then leaving to carry out their mission. How did this happen? Said the only female member of the organization. I don't know, Conan, but it needs to be stopped now before the boy becomes a threat to us. And our plans, said Pain simply with the woman named Conan. Sighing. With Naruto. Jiraiya is going to find Tsunade-sama, and is taking you with him. That's so unfair, said Tenten, as she along with Gay, and Lee on his crutches to see Naruto when they heard the news. You want to come along with us? Said Naruto curiously while Tenten looked hopeful with stars in her eyes. Can I go with you? Please, please, please! Tsunade-sama is my idol. I want to be strong kunoichi just like her, said Tenten while bouncing about in front of him. Well, it couldn't hurt. Do you have a problem with it, Gai-san? You are her sensei after all, said Naruto while Gai was in thought about it. Well, said Gai before seeing the murderous aura surrounding Tenten and her pulling out all sorts of weapons seemingly from out of nowhere. Say yes or you are dead, thought Tenten while the words were clear in her eyes. Of course! My student is meeting her idol after all, said Gai with a hearty yet nervous laugh while backing up a few steps. Ya-ay! Thank you, Gai-sensei, said Tenten, as she went from potential murderous psychopath with many sharp weapons in her hands, to the sweet lovable girl Gai knew, and hugged him before skipping away while humming a tune. Gai-sensei, what did I witness just now? Said Lee with Naruto letting out a laugh, and Gay looking nervously at his student. What you saw, my youthful student, is what happens when you don't make a woman with shinobi training happy for the briefest of moments until she get what her heart desires, said Gay, with Lee nodding and writing this down. I shall make a note of this, sensei, said Lee, while Naruto shook his head at the two. Yes, please do write this down, Lee. It may save your life one day should you ever face such an event like this personally, said Gay in an all-knowingly voice of a teacher giving his student advice. Those two will die virgins, thought Naruto while leaving them to their own devices. Going to find Senju Tsunade, said Kakashi, having appeared casually by the corner of an alleyway. What business is it of yours, Hatake? Said Naruto with a scowl on his face and looked at the Junin. It's my business, Genin, because I'm your Junin sensei. Until you are promoted, I am the one responsible for your well-being, and need to know everything you do, said Kakashi simply, while Naruto scoffed at him. That, and you want to make sure she heals Sasuke's injuries I gave him, said Naruto, as he saw Kakashi frown a bit. That, too. When she gets back here to become Hokage, I'm moving for your dismissal from the shinobi program, and brought up on charges, said Kakashi before walking away with his plan, now in motion to hurt the boy further. If Naruto continued with the mission to the fullest extent, the Junin would get what he wanted, and the Jinchuriki would be removed from the shinobi ranks while being locked away for his crimes. On the other hand, Naruto could easily use this mission to get away from Konoha and become a missing nin, with Kakashi volunteering to hunt him down. You think that scares me, Hatake? Said Naruto, making the Junin stop. It should, Kakashi simply stated, while Naruto walked up to the man until they were face to face. It doesn't. The shackles you and the rest of the village have used no longer hold me. As I told you before, Hatake, the people in this village and the councils fear me now. It does not matter what the councils pull once you make your move. You will either bow before me or die, said Naruto with a sadistic grin on his face before walking past Kakashi. We'll see about that, thought Kakashi while seeing Naruto walk away from him. Sometime later. I was hoping it would be just the two of us traveling together, Naruto. We do have a lot of time to make up for on account of the Sandane's actions, said Jiraiya, seeing Tenten scowling at him. Let her come with us, Jiraiya. There is no harm in it, said Naruto casually, since another pair of eyes couldn't hurt to find their target for this mission. I was hoping to train you in some of the skills your father had in his arsenal that I taught him, Jiraiya simply stated. Like what exactly? Said Naruto curiously. This, said Jiraiya before making an orb of chakra in his hand. What's that? Said Tenten, seeing the thing manifest itself. It's the Rasengan. The Yondaime Hokage created this little number before teaching it to me. Took us both years to get down, said Jiraiya before wincing, when in realization of calling the boy's father by his title. Wait. You just called Naruto's dad the Yondaime Hokage, but that would mean, said Tenten before she looked from Jiraiya to Naruto. Back to Jiraiya again, and finally at Naruto, currently finding her actions somewhat amusing. Nice going, big mouth, said Naruto with Jiraiya looking sheepish. Oops, said Jiraiya while Naruto sighed. Moron, said Naruto while seeing Tenten looking ready to crash. You're the son of the Yondaime Hokage, said Tenten at last while pointing a shaking finger at him. That's not really common knowledge, and I would like to keep it that way for now, said Jiraiya, while glad no one was around to hear this conversation. Oh, said Tenten simply while looking sheepish. Come on, we have a Sannin to find. While traveling, I will help you with your training, and Jiraiya can help with mine, said Naruto, seeing Ten looking excited, though when she saw the cruel glint in his eyes, it became fearful. This is going to be one of those pain-filled training sessions, isn't it? Said Tenten while Naruto just let out a chuckle. Would you prefer something less challenging? Said Naruto, seeing Tenten's eyes flare with fire. Of course not. Tsunade-sama would meet such a challenging training session head-on, and so will I, said Tenten with righteous fury in her eyes, knowing her idol would take on all kinds of training to get stronger. Good to hear. Your first lesson for today, is how to dodge quickly, said Naruto while making a light spear, and suddenly throwing it at her with Tenten barely dodging it. You jerk, warned me next. Ah, said Tenten before dodging another, and another with each spear nearly hitting her each time. You think your enemy will warn you. He or she will not show you mercy. This is the way of the world. Now move like your life is on the line, said Naruto, throwing more spears at Tenten, and the kunoichi was doing everything in her power to dodge them. Good thing I'm the one training him and not the other way around, thought Jiraiya while his sweat dropped at seeing Naruto's method of training the girl. This was going to be a long trip. With the elder gods. The boy is becoming too powerful. You must allow me to stop him, pleaded Raiden to the other elder gods. No, you will not, yelled the elder gods as they were tired of hearing this from their fellow elder god and his attempts to usurp the laws set by them. The boy will still cause chaos, destruction, and bring about violence to Earthrealm, just as Shao Khan did. He is the Emperor's legacy, said Raiden, seeing the elder gods were glaring at him with their smoldering eyes. The boy is a citizen of Earthrealm by his birth alone, Raiden. This was made possible the moment you took Shao Kahn's progeny from Outworld, and he had children of his own. You made this happen, Raiden, and we are well aware of your influence on those around the boy when growing up to ensure his stunted growth. You have done enough to him, Raiden. You can only interfere in the lives of mortals so much before reaching a limit to your right to interfere, and you have reached your limit, said one of the elder gods taking on a spiritual female form. And if the boy does something that endangers the realms, said Raiden, seeing them pause for a moment. If Uzumaki Naruto threatens to destabilize the realms, then we will interfere to stop that from happening, and command him to stop his actions before they cause disaster. Until then, we can do nothing to stop him, and just watch his progress for now, said another elder god, with an ethereal male body that resembled a Viking warrior. The moment that boy steps out of line, I will end him, thought Raiden before vanishing in a flash of lightning. With Naruto. You're a jerk, said Tenten, as she was bandaged up and scowling at him. Please. You had it easy compared to what I went through to get where I am right now when training for the chunin exams. So quick being a baby, said Naruto while sitting down in a chair next to her bed, while Jiraiya went about gathering information on where Tsunade might be in hiding. And by gathering information, Jiraiya meant peeping in bathhouses, going to the various red light districts to hit on women, etc. I believe it considering you have the muscle that beat Neji within an inch of his life in the chunin exams, said Tenten, while blushing when looking at his semi-exposed torso, with all that muscle mass behind it. And how is your teammate? Said Naruto, seeing Tenten shrug. Still being Neji. Though I think the whole idea of fate has declared me the winner is out of his system, said Tenten, seeing Naruto grinning at the memory. Good. Even I don't think I can get away with beating him a second time with that level of brutality, said Naruto, letting out a chuckle with Ten laughing too. A knock at the door interrupted them. Uzumaki. Naruto, said a semi-quiet voice of the shorter of the two people currently standing outside the room. Naruto was in with Tenten. Depends on who is asking, said Naruto, seeing the taller one with blue skin smirk. The Akatsuki, said the shorter man of the two. Never heard of you, said Naruto with Itachi frowning slightly, though clearly not by his words. More like how Naruto looked from what he expected to see. You are to come with us. Peacefully, said the shorter man, though his taller companion was clearly hoping that wouldn't happen. Come on, Itachi, the guy's not going to go quietly with us and certainly not peacefully. I can smell blood on him. He's like me. He's a fighter, said the tall man with the bandaged sword. It's a shame we're not in Outworld. The Emperor would have loved to have an agent such as yourself on his side, said Naruto with the blue-skinned man frowning in confusion. Huh, said the man with the shorter one named Itachi, sighing. Enough, Kisame. You are coming with Naruto. This is not negotiable, said Itachi before he moved his head slightly to the left, on account of the kunai thrown from behind Naruto by Tenten. "The hell it isn't," said Tenten, as she saw Itachi look beyond Naruto to see the girl get off the bed, and now have a sword in hand. "What should we do, Itachi?" "Maim them both and take the Kyuubi Jinchuriki afterwards in the aftermath," said Kisame, with his partner being silent on the matter. "I have a third option," said Naruto, gaining their attention. "Aye. Third option," said Itachi with a raised eyebrow. "Yeah. You and your butt buddy get the hell out of my sight before I shove his sword up your ass," said Naruto, and shut the door in front of them. "Did he just?" said Kisame, looking at Itachi, who nodded his head and sighed. "Yes, he did. Now we have to do things the hard way," said Itachi, simply knowing that would involve violence. "Not that. He called us butt buddies. Like we're gay. I am not gay," Kisame angrily stated before kicking down the door, and was rewarded with a light spear to the gut. "Your attire says otherwise," said Naruto with a grin on his face. "You are so dead gaki," said Kisame, as he broke the light spear, and saw the rest of it dissolve away before charging towards Naruto with Saintly Hata slightly unwrapped. Naruto grinned as he dodged the swings of the man's sword, made his wrath hammer materialize, and hit Kisame in the face with it. The former mist shinobi went flying back out of the room and hit the wall with a thud before spitting out some blood with a mix of some teeth. Tenten herself was on the defensive against Itachi with a sword in one hand and several kunai in the other ready to be thrown. She knew of Itachi's reputation for his actions against the Uchiha clan, his own blood. If Tenten knew to let her guard down for a single second would be lethal, and the Leaf Kunoichi had no intention of dying anytime soon. "You'll have to move faster than that fishy-chan," said Naruto while covering Tenten's flank so Kisame wouldn't get to her. Enraged, Kisame began locking weapons with the Uzumaki, and was surprised the kid was matching him in strength. It just wasn't possible. Clashing with the Wrath Hammer several times, Kisame swung horizontally, but Naruto leaped to avoid the move, then used the opening, then hit Missing Nin with charging spikes that slammed the man hard against the wall. Itachi was caught between helping his partner and watching things play out to get information about Naruto's strange powers that told the Uchiha was somewhat connected to Kyuubi. His power has a certain trace of Kyuubi's chakra, but this power coats his body for an instant. And even then, it's not all Kyuubi. It's something else. Something that makes the hairs on the back of my head stand on end, thought Itachi while seeing Naruto prepare to strike down Kisame with his mighty weapon. Had Jiraiya not taken this moment to interrupt with a silly dance and proclaim no women under a genjutsu could trick him. With the distraction of heads turning his way, Kisame swung Samahata and hit Naruto's side to send the boy flying through a wall. Tenten to see her flank exposed to the former swordsman of the mist, and her only hope now was Jiraiya doing something to scare them off. "Kisame, we need to move." "Now," said Itachi, seeing Kisame. "Make his body go crack in several places." "What? Why?" "We can take on the girl and I just knocked the Kyuubi Jinchuriki through the wall," said Kisame, while Itachi sighed at his patience being tested. "Jiraiya is more powerful than either of us, Kisame, and the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is not so easily defeated from one swing of a sword," said Itachi, seeing Kisame have to roll out of the way of the Wrath Hammer thrown by Naruto. "Is that all you've got?" said Naruto with fire in his eyes, walking back into the fight while the wound he received already healed. "Run!" said Itachi as he leaped over Ten, and ran with Kisame while Jiraiya used a jutsu that turned the entire hallway into a giant toad's stomach. Only for a hole to be made via a dark fire made around the corner, though how it was made none of the Leaf Shinobi seeing the hole. Jiraiya apparently had suspicions from what Naruto could see of the dark flame left behind. As the Sannin sealed it away, the Kunoichi of the group was looking at Naruto and putting the pieces together of what she had just experienced in this fight. Naruto was a Kyuubi Jinchuriki, a human sacrifice. She recalled his birthday was on the day of the Kyuubi festival, and when a lot of people were out with various objects, meant to hurt someone if not carefully used. Or in Naruto's case could hurt someone if carefully used, and on him for what he held. Kyuubi. They called you the Kyuubi Jinchuriki during the fighting. That means you hold the Kyuubi no Kitsune inside your body, doesn't it? Said Tenten, seeing Naruto look at her for a moment. I did, said Naruto, seeing Ten frown in confusion. What do you mean by I did? Are you saying Kyuubi somehow got free? Said Tenten, seeing Naruto just chuckle at her now slightly worried face. No, I've merged with Kyuubi. It happened during my time training away from Konoha for the chunin exams. His knowledge, power, and just about everything else about the fox is now mine to command, said Naruto, seeing Tenten's eyes bug out of her sockets. Really, wow. That's just... wow, said Tenten, as she heard all the stories about Kyuubi practically being power incarnate. And here was the person holding all of it inside his very body. Yeah. Hard to believe, isn't it? Said Naruto, with Tenten nodding since it was hard to believe. We need to move. Just because they ran off doesn't mean they won't come back later. With Tsunade on our side, they won't dare make move, and would need reinforcements to even try, said Jiraiya with Naruto, narrowing his eyes at him before grabbing the Sannin and slamming him against the wall. And how do you know that, Jiraiya? You weren't surprised at the sight of them when they came for me. You didn't even react when mentioning I was the Kyuubi Jinchuriki in front of Ten here. Why is that? Said Naruto with Jiraiya trying to get free from his iron grip. When I wasn't tracking Orochimaru, I was tracking the Akatsuki, and their interest in the bijou sealed into Jinchuriki. It's not easy getting into their organization, and I told Sensei all about them. I told him that you need to be training hard in all aspects of being a shinobi, and he told me that you were making progress in your training on leaps and bounds, so there was no need to worry, said Jiraiya before Naruto, after a few long seconds, let the man go. In other words, don't check up on me personally and catch the Sandaime in a lie, said Naruto with his anger now channeled towards the old man. Pretty much, said Jiraiya, while Naruto looked ready to smash something. I assume you know where to find Tsunade, said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya nod since his spy had provided the necessary intel to find her. Yeah. A city northeast of here, but it's near the border of Fire Country, and if we spook her, well, she's going to run for it. The Sandaime has tried for years to recall Tsunade, and she, well, ignored him, said Jiraiya, seeing Naruto's eyes narrow again with a question in his head about the woman. If you are my godfather, then does that mean she is my godmother? And does she know about me? Said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya grimace a bit. I honestly don't know. Your mother was like a daughter to her. I don't think she would hate you, though. If anything, your existence would have made her stay in Konoha. And since the Sandaime lied to me, said Jiraiya, seeing the warlord in training nod, then he more than likely lied to her too. We'll find out soon enough, said Naruto, as he would make sure to beat the old man further into the grave. He had one leg in already, and put a blood-stained tombstone on it with the words traitor written under his name. Tanzuka City a week later. Here we are. Nice city, huh? Said Jiraiya as they walked down the streets to the various places where the bars were located, since he knew Tsunade's habits were gamble during the day and drink into the night with a hangover in the morning. If you say so, said Naruto while looking around for the bar Tsunade was currently in to drown her worries away. Why would Tsunade go here? Said Tenten curiously. Well, she has a gambling problem. When Tsunade loses a bet involving a large amount of money, she tends to head for the bars and drink herself stupid, said Jiraiya, only to be hit in the head with a club by Ten. How dare you say such things about Tsunade-sama, you filthy pervert, said Tenten with female fury in her eyes, while Jiraiya massaged the giant lump on the back of his head. Damn, troublesome women. Always hitting me for every other thing I say, no matter what it is, thought Jiraiya, while Naruto let out a chuckle. She's this way. I sense her power, said Naruto, before heading towards where he was sure Tsunade was located. Sure enough, they entered a bar to find a blonde, big-breasted woman drinking sake with another woman holding a well-pampered pig, and it was clear she wasn't in much of a friendly mood. None of that mattered to Naruto as he had a job to do and needed to get it done now. Tsunadeheim? Shizune, said Jiraiya loudly while walking over to her with a smile on his face. Jiraiya, what the hell brings you here? Said Tsunade while seeing the man sit down across from her, and he was soon joined by the others with him. The woman beside Tsunade couldn't help but blush at the sight of Naruto's muscled body before her, and had to look away quickly. Naruto smirked slightly in his mind, which had a slight perverted streak to it, most likely thanks to Kurama's and Shao Khan's help in that regard. Enjoyed the sight of the woman falling slowly under his spell, and knew this one was shy. No doubt being shielded by Tsunade if the woman's fearsome reputation from what Jiraiya and Tenten each mentioned about her was in fact true. You know me, Tsunade? I'm traveling and doing my usual thing, said Jiraiya while he let out a hearty laugh before Naruto smacked him on the back of the head. Stop playing the fool and tell her already, said Naruto impatiently at the Sannin. Tell me what, said Tsunade while seeing Naruto and felt a chill run up her spine. Orochimaru invaded the village and tried to kill the Sandaime. The old man survived, but he's too old to lead Konoha anymore. And the village needs you to come back. We need you to become Gondame Hokage of Konoha, said Jiraiya while Tsunade looked at him for a moment, and then scoffed with a mocking laughter. Hokage? Ha! Why would I want to be the Hokage of the League? It's a fool's dream to be Hokage in Enzlives, said Tsunade, while Jiraiya frowned at her, and Tenten looked like someone had just told her Santa Claus wasn't real. Tsunade-sama, said Tenten, as she couldn't believe her idol had just admitted such a thing about the title of Hokage, and to an extent Konoha itself. I'm sorry to hear you say that, Tsunade, said Jiraiya, seeing the bitter look in the eyes of that woman. Time changes people. Jiraiya. Same with losing them too. My grandfather, granduncle, Dan, Nawaki, and the Yondaime. All died for the dream of being Hokage. The only one left is the Sandaime, and he's getting on in his years according to you, said Tsunade, with Naruto narrowing his eyes at her. What makes you think the old man's going to live past the next few weeks? Said Naruto while Tsunade looked at him with suspicion now. And just what are you implying, Gaki? Said Tsunade, while Naruto grinned predatorily at her. I'm implying that the Sandaime will die by my hands whether you say yes or no to the position of Hokage. That your belief regarding the title of Hokage means nothing to me. Besides, you aren't worthy of the title anyway. I smell fear on you. The mighty Senju Tsunade is afraid to head back to Konoha and fill her grandfather's boots. I don't see a great woman Jiraiya here speaks so highly of, or the idol this leaf Kunoichi would have defended up until now. I see a frightened child in an old woman's body. To think the people of Konoha want you to be their Hokage. Ha! Don't make me laugh, said Naruto with Tsunade moved from her seated position and punched Naruto right in his helmeted skull that sent him flying through the wall of the bar into the next building. Fine, I won't make you laugh. I'll just make you cry out in pain, said Tsunade after having heard enough from him. Tsunade, you shouldn't have done that, said Jiraiya before being grabbed by Tsunade and facing the glaring woman now less than an inch from his face. And give me one good reason why, said Tsunade with Jiraiya letting out a sigh. Because, Tsunade, that was Uzumaki Naruto you just hit. Your godson, said Jiraiya while Tsunade's eyes widened in disbelief, and looked where she sent the kid flying and rushed out of the bar. Only to see Naruto suddenly appear in front of her in a shadowed flash of red, and landed a right hand to the woman's face to send the Sannin flying back into the bar to the very table she left. Looking up, Tsunade was shocked that Naruto hit her with such strength, but the speed to back it up, and the fact he did it at all was surprising too. That's one of many I owe you for abandoning me to go off drinking and gambling, said Naruto, as he punched his palm in front of her, and his eyes were smoldering with fury. Abandoned you? What are you talking about? The Sandaime told me you died. He said the Kyuubi's chakra overloaded your body. That only a pure-blooded Uzumaki could have contained its chakra without succumbing to death, said Tsunade as she felt the bruise on her face already forming. And damn did that hurt. And you believed him? You didn't ask to see a body. said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade look away. I was devastated. I already saw Kushina's body like all the other people close to me. I've lost over the years. I didn't have the courage to look at a child's burned corpse that belonged to her, said Tsunade, with Naruto looking infuriated by this news. Damn, that old man. I should have and will rip out his soul like I did Orochimaru's, said Naruto, while his body was consumed in a blood-red aura. Jiraiya, what is going on? What has happened to turn my godson? Said Tsunade, seeing Naruto's power consume the bar and scaring everyone in it. A lot, said Jiraiya, while seeing Naruto being fueled by his incredible power to cause damage to something. Senju Tsunade, I hereby challenge you to mortal combat, exclaimed Naruto, his mind lost in the rage he was feeling before he pointed at Tsunade, seeing looking shocked at his proclaimed challenge. Whoa, Naruto, you're going a little overboard here. Calm the hell down, said Jiraiya before Naruto's bloodlust-filled eyes turned towards him. You wish to fight me too, Jiraiya. Fine. You can help Tsunade fight. It's quite clear she needs the help, being weak and all, said Naruto, seeing Tsunade, looking pissed off now. Weak. I'll show you weak after I shove my foot up your ass, said Tsunade, getting off the ground and ready to hurt him. Fight! Yelled Naruto with a feral smile on his face. Shit, muttered Jiraiya as he leaped into the fight, ignoring the bartender telling them to get out, and the people running from the brawl now occurring. Tenten could only watch in awe and fear at seeing these three do battle. Naruto may have been outnumbered, but his power more than made up for it, and neither Sannin was able to handle him alone. When the two used teamwork, they were able to push Naruto back, but the moment the Uzumaki brought out the Wrath Hammer, well, things got destroyed and caused quite a bit of damage. Eventually, the fight left the bar, what was left of it, and took to the streets with Naruto knocking Jiraiya into a wall while Tsunade landed a few solid blows with her fists, before hitting him with a roundhouse kick to the face that sent the former Kyuubi Jinchuriki skidding back. Is that all you've got? Cried out Naruto before making a light spear and throwing it at Tsunade with the Sannin dodging it. Damn. This Gaki is one tough customer. It's no wonder he killed Orochimaru. How did this happen? Thought Tsunade while seeing Naruto grinning at her, and began to form what she knew only Jiraiya was capable of making since the Yondame's death. The Rasengan. Do you like it? Jiraiya showed this to me a few days ago while traveling to find you, and I have been training to master it ever since, said Naruto, making a crude form of the Rasengan in his hand. But it was slightly unstable, and Tsunade saw this. And you still have a ways to go, said Tsunade, as she smashed the ground to shake things up, and caused the Rasengan in Naruto's hand to explode to send him flying back onto the ground. Before Tsunade leaped into the air and stomped on him with enough strength to cause a crater. Tsunade, stop. Remember, he's your godson, called out Jiraiya, while wincing at the blow the kid's Wrath Hammer hit along the right side of his ribs. I know, Jiraiya. It's why I don't tear out his throat, said Tsunade, while Naruto just laughs despite his position. It seems you aren't weak after all. Still, you are far from the woman Jiraiya speaks so highly of, and the 110 idolizes. If you were that woman, you wouldn't have run away from Konoha and stayed to serve the village instead of letting the fools there ruin it, said Naruto before he head-butted the woman off of his body, and slowly got off of the ground with his Hao power receding. Ow! That hurt, you big dumb bastard, said Tsunade angrily while rubbing her forehead. So is you leaping into the air and then landing on me with your super strength, you big-breasted bitch, countered Naruto with Tsunade scowling at him. What did you say? Said Tsunade, getting off the ground and had to be restrained by Shizune. Tsunade-sama, please no more. You've caused quite enough damage to the area, and we will have to pay the damages to the bar if we don't leave, said Shizune, seeing Tsunade look at the destroyed building, and cursed knowing that was true. Fine, but this is not over, said Tsunade, seeing Naruto dust himself off and laugh. You keep telling yourself that, said Naruto before walking away from them. Wait. I have a proposition for you, called out Tsunade, to make the future warlord and emperor of Earthrealm stop. What exactly? Said Naruto curiously. The Rasengan. You haven't mastered it yet, stated Tsunade, while Naruto looked at her with a small irritation on his face. Doesn't mean I won't in time. What's your point? Said Naruto, turning more to face her. I'm willing to bet you can't complete in a week what took Jiraiya and the Yondai years to create. If I win, I don't have to come back to Konoha and stay away from it as long as I want, said Tsunade with Naruto, now showing interest in this challenge of hers. And if I win, said Naruto while seeing Tsunade grab a necklace with a green gem of sorts that was around her neck. I'll come back with you to Konoha to be the new Hokage, and I'll give you, get this, the Shadame's necklace, my grandfather's necklace. The value of this gem is enough to buy 3 whole mountains. Win the bet, and it's yours, said Tsunade with Naruto, thinking it over. While the gem would be interesting to have in my possession, I need something more, and something I can enjoy outside of jewelry regardless of the supposed value, said Naruto with a grin on his face as he looked from Tsunade to Shizune, and his eyes now flashed red for a second at her. Oh no, 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 no. You are not having Shizune be yours like some kind of prize, said Tsunade, seeing Shizune, looking surprised and concerned. Naruto would want her. It's that, or I walk away to eventually track you down for another fight to bring you back to the village. I don't care if I have to drag your drunk ass back kicking and screaming to Konoha by your hair, said Naruto, seeing the woman, looking enraged by the ultimatum being made by him. Why, you little, said an infuriated Tsunade, while Shizune and now Jiraiya held her back. What's wrong? You're so confident I'll lose. Agree to the bet or prepare for another beat down without Jiraiya helping you, said Naruto while manifesting his wrath hammer to his hand, with Tsunade running the odds of him succeeding through her head. I accept, said Tsunade with Shizune, and Tenten looking horrified at her for making the bet. Tsunade-sama, you can't. Don't I get a say in this? Shizune cried out with the two now looking at her. No, yelled Naruto and Tsunade at the same time. But he's a 12-year-old, said Shizune, while Naruto let out a laugh that made her jump slightly. Do I physically look like I'm a 12-year-old to you? Said Naruto, while Shizune gave his body a once-over and blushed in realization of what she just did. That is not the body of a 12-year-old, thought Shizune while seeing Naruto's eyes on her, and felt his presence was overpowering. See you in a week. Don't skip town or I'll be very angry, said Naruto with the Uzumaki leaving Tsunade, Jiraiya and Shizune to talk about things while Tenten followed him. Naruto, how can you make such a bet? Said Tenten, seeing Naruto look over at her. Because it's in her nature. She has a habit of gambling, Tenten, or haven't you been paying attention to Jiraiya when he talks about her? Said Naruto with Tenten getting in front of him while glaring. I don't care about that. I'll admit Tsunade-sama isn't like I imagined her to be when we first met. What I want to know why you altered the bet, Naruto. What you're asking of Tsunade and Shizune is perverse, said Tenten while Naruto just shrugged. And what if it is? You think I'm the only one in the world who would make such a bet regarding another human life? The slave trade has women and men auctioned off all the time. Bets are made with slaves being currency all the time. Winners keep and the losers weep, Tenten. And don't say women don't partake in the slave trade and have men as their slaves either, said Naruto, seeing Ten was trying to rebuke him, but saw no way around the truth, and let out a sigh. It's still perverse, said Tenten with Naruto walking around her. If you had a male slave, would we really be having this conversation? Said Naruto with Tenten looking red with anger at the idea of herself having some kind of male slave to do her every bidding. Then again, it all depends on how just powerful my slave would be and how cute he is when I make him mine. Huh? Wait, what? Why did I think that? Damn you, Naruto. You are corrupting me, thought Tenten while trying to shake such things from her head. I love corrupting people to my side. Just like my forefather in Outworld, thought Naruto with his smile increasing while seeing Ten shaking her head. With Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya. So he's the long-line descendant, not only the sage of Six Path, but that of an emperor from another realm called Outworld, said Tsunade while finding this hard to believe. From what Naruto told me in the meeting he had with the other governing bodies of Konoha in the room, I believe him, Shizune. From what's been spoken regarding the Gaki's entrance into the chunin exams, he appeared through a portal of some kind, and his attire is similar to his forefather of an emperor named Shao Khan. The guy did some kind of magic on the kid's seal to merge Kyuubi and Naruto together, while putting the boy through the grinder during the whole month spent training. It's kind of scary when you think about it, said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade's eyes widen, and Shizune now became concerned when seeing the Sannin stiffen. I don't understand. What's wrong? Why do you suddenly look afraid, Tsunade-sama? Said Shizune, seeing Jiraiya let out a chuckle. Because Naruto's still young and could take on the two of us at the same time on even ground. He's 12 years old and not even fully grown yet. Just imagine what he'll look like when the kid's a full-grown mature adult, said Jiraiya with Shizune, doing just that with the image of a taller, muscular, and physically dominant-looking figure. Oh, okay, Kami, said Shizune, as she realized that Naruto had yet to reach his limits, if any limit at all, and there was not telling when that would happen. The kid will practically be unstoppable, said Tsunade finally. The kid's unstoppable already. I don't know what the Gaki's plans are for the future, but something tells me his plans far exceed the desire to be Hokage, and his goal in life is to strike it big, said Jiraiya, knowing the kid would never consider the position of Hokage, and even if he did, it was going to be a very violent transition. So why put it on me then? Why not let the kid have it now? Let Naruto rule the damn village after coming out on top, said Tsunade with Jiraiya shrugging. Because Naruto won't take the title of Hokage. Like I said before, Tsunade, he has his sights set on something bigger, grander, and more prestige in mind for someone of his power, explained Jiraiya while giving Tsunade a knowing look to put two and two together in terms of what Naruto wanted. No, he actually wants to become an emperor? Like Shao Khan is in Outworld, said a startled Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya nod. Yeah. Why rule a village when you can rule the world, said Jiraiya, who then let out a sigh and took a sip of the drink at a small drinking stand. I see, said Tsunade, as she would probably consider the title of Hokage to be pointless if such power in Naruto's possession was her own, and wanted to do more than sit in an office pushing paperwork. What are you going to do about the bet? The kid's potential is immense. I'd be worried if I were you, Tsunade, warned Jiraiya while looking from Tsunade to Shizune, currently fidgeting nervously with worry that the Slug Princess would lose another bet. Again. For what it's worth, Shizune, I'm sorry I put you in this situation, and even more sorry should I lose the bet, said Tsunade with Shizune, nodding with a feeling in both their guts that the bet was already lost. With Naruto 3 days later. Naruto himself was mediating in a nice secluded spot where he felt would help him focus his energies that raged within his body in order to complete the bet made with Tsunade. It was difficult sometimes. The Rasengan was not easy to make, maintain, and then use in that order. It took a certain level of power, control of it, and the means to stabilize the orb long enough to unleash the energy. Despite being this powerful being, Naruto knew it was not easy to master this kind of technique, and the 1 year in Outworld was only the means to reach a level where the lack of control wouldn't be a problem. Kurama's power was incredible. The fox had many memories that even now traveled through his mind, calling out to him, and the desire for revenge against those responsible for putting him in a cage. Naruto himself felt the same way, as he felt Konoha was his cage, and desire a way to break free from the walls of the society living in it. He would have to wait. Be patient. With every passing day, Naruto was getting stronger, his enemies getting overconfident, and the bars that were Konoha's walls were rotting. It would be a few more years at least before his conquest could begin, and only after he had gained enough followers to his cause. It's been a long time. Thunder God, said Naruto, as he felt the presence of Raiden now standing behind him, barely 10 feet away from him, and could feel the Elder God's rage aimed at the Earthrealm version of Shao Khan. "The last time I stood before you at this range, the fox was sealed inside your body, and I was having a discussion with the Sandaime Hawkage," said Raiden, knowing any attack on the boy on his end would result in the Elder Gods attacking him. "I know. Shao Khan saw the memory of that moment and told me about your little plan you concocted with him to turn me into the village's pet. Though that was the minor part of the plan, since you wanted me to be a slave to your own machinations, knowing I was the child of prophecy. I was beyond your direct control, your very influence. So, you had others under your influence use theirs on me to be an extension of themselves, and yours too, by that action, should you ever call upon them for help. Am right so far?" said Naruto, with Raiden narrowing his eyes at him. Earthrealm needs to be protected from outside forces. Even if the Elder Gods decree no one may attack the realms without their permission, it won't stop someone or something from trying. You are going to be a deterrent from such foes. Only now are you the very thing I have deemed a threat to this realm," said Raiden, with Naruto laughing at him. "So I am your greatest fear aside from Shao Kahn's return. Doesn't matter. You can do nothing to me, Elder God. Leave my sight. I have to train in using my new technique," said Naruto, waving him off, while Raiden looked angrily at him. "So arrogant! Just like Shao Khan," exclaimed Raiden, with lightning flashing around his body. "Leave me alone, Raiden, or I will make you," said Naruto, with Raiden not listening. "That sounded like a challenge, boy. Are you challenging me to mortal combat?" said Raiden, knowing once the boy issued the challenge, he was free to attack and destroy Naruto. "No, not now, not yet. I know what you are trying to do, Raiden. I can see it in your eyes and hear it in your voice, the desire to fight me without facing the other Elder Gods. That will not happen until the time is right," said Naruto, before getting off the ground and just walked away from the shocked Raiden. "Fight me now, coward!" called out Raiden impatiently, while charging his hand with lightning and prepared to attack. "You'd shoot me with lightning in the back. I thought you were honorable Lord Raiden. Don't tell me you've changed after all these years," said Naruto, while looking back and grinning at the angry Elder God. "I will show you no mercy. For the good of Earthrealm, I will stop you here and face the judgment of the Elder Gods in the end," said Raiden, with Naruto narrowing his eyes at him. "I see. Well then, allow me the opportunity to make the first move," said Naruto, as he vanished from Raiden's sight, and the Elder God felt an energy orb plunged into his gut. The Rasengan. The attack itself sent the shocked Elder God flying back, and looked at Naruto with anger in his eyes, before shooting lightning at the boy. The attack sent the boy back, and he was crouching slightly to endure Raiden's lightning before jumping into the air with the Wrath Hammer in his hands. Raiden teleported away, a few feet behind Naruto, and shot out lightning from his hands yet again. But Naruto wasn't going to be hit so easily, as he had used his speed to dodge the attack, and then slammed his Wrath Hammer onto the ground to cause a massive tremor to throw the Elder God off his feet. However, before things could get any further out of hand, golden lightning fell from the sky, and 5 golden dragons surrounded the two of them. Naruto put away his weapon as he saw them surround him, and Raiden while awaiting their judgment. While this was happening, the group of Jiraiya, Tsunade, Tenten, and Shizune appeared to see this with shocked eyes. "You have violated our orders yet again, Raiden. You put all of Earthrealm in jeopardy with your actions," said the Elder Gods at the same time. "This boy is a threat to the realms. Surely you see it as I do. Shao Khan is a threat we can handle should he invade," said Raiden in an attempt to plead his case. Silence. It is not just Shao Khan you risk unleashing upon Earthrealm, but the other forces lurking in the shadows of the different realms awaiting the day when they have a means to attack without our interference. Had you continued, all the rules we have set forth to protect the realms from destabilizing would be cast down, and Armageddon would have happened, furious stated the Elder Gods while Raiden looked away from them. And this boy one day ruling all of Earthrealm in Shao Kahn's place would be better. challenged Raiden, while seeing them the elder gods looking at him with solemn faces. If dragons could look solemn. Sadly, Earthrealm would be better under his rule. We find the realms would be stable, and any threat would be put down decisively by Naruto should such an event happen, said the elder god, seeing Raiden's look of disbelief on his face. I don't believe it, said Raiden, seeing the dragons around him scowling. Regardless of what you believe in this matter, Raiden, we will not have you defy us any further, and we will not punish you this one time on account of Naruto attacking first. However, the boy will not be punished because you provoked him in this fight and has not violated our rules. Do not make such an attempt again, or next time we will not be so merciful, called out the elder gods before they flew away. This is not over, Naruto, said Raiden before he vanished in a flash of lightning. No, not by a long shot. We will meet again and fight in mortal combat like you wanted, Lord Raiden. Only when we do, it will be on even terms, said Naruto, knowing he was not strong enough to fight an elder god. Not yet. Naruto! Cried out Tsunade as she approached him, and was about to hit the Gaki for making her worry when he showed her the fully made Rasengan in his right hand. I win the bet, Tsunade. You know what that means, said Naruto with a grin on his face, with Tsunade slumping in defeat, Shizune blushing with embarrassment, and Tenten was red in the face with anger. Jiraiya was stuck between being perverted and being cautious around the women near him when he acted perverted. Damn it. Take the damn thing, said Tsunade, as she threw him the necklace, and he caught it with ease. To think something small like this had so much value, said Naruto before putting it around his neck, and then looked at Shizune with his eyes roaming over her body. Oh, Kami, he's practically eye-humping me, thought Shizune while walking over to him, as Tsunade looked away after tossing the necklace, and Tenten looked like she wanted to launch a barrage of weapons at Naruto. Don't worry, my dear. The fun won't start until after we get back to Konoha, said Naruto before taking her hand and kissing it, while letting some of his power travel through the woman's body to the brain, where it would influence her to see things his way from now on. I understand, Naruto-sama, said Shizune, while blushing, while Naruto just laughed at seeing how shy she was right now. It reminded him of Hyuga Hinata. Must not kill. Must not kill, must not kill, thought Tenten and Tsunade at the same time, though for different reasons. Let's go! I have the grave of an old fool to fill in when we get back to Konoha, said Naruto, as he was walking with Shizune beside him now, and Tenten following with narrowed eyes at the two. Fucking perverted jerk, thought Tenten, despite the fact she felt a tad jealous right now. Come on, you old pervert! Time to head back home and fix what's broken, said Tsunade, knowing this was going to be fun. Jiraiya grumbled and followed after them while mumbling about not getting any respect. Chapter 4. Recruitment begins. Naruto watched with amusement how Orochimaru's former bodyguards shrunk back in fear of him when he entered the interrogation room. Every single Leaf Shinobi now knew his position in their ranks was much higher than theirs was, thanks to Godmother making it known how she felt about her. Grandfather's village getting 10 pounds of flesh from the boy when they should have been kissing his ass. Even now, Tsunade was cleaning house one block at a time, and Naruto was enjoying every second of it. He had already moved into the Namikaze estates with Anko and Shizune right beside him, once informing them of this news. Anko had jumped him the moment he set foot into her apartment to tell her the news, and they nearly had sex with Shizune watching them, before the crazy special Chunin saw the woman while wrapping her legs around his waist. After asking Naruto what Shizune was doing in her apartment, the former Jinchuriki grinned and explained what happened with him making a bet with Tsunade. Anko was speechless at first over Naruto not only being the owner of the Shodame's necklace, but got Tsunade's assistant too. At first, Naruto thought she would be upset by this addition, but to his slight surprise, Anko let out a squeal of joy at having a harem sister and had a perverted look on her face that made Shizune very nervous. Poor Shizune. As for Naruto right now, His eyes were glowing red behind his war helmet of a mask, as he watched the four shinobi in front of him, thinking of what to do or say in his presence. From the look in their eyes, they were very terrified, and some were even angry with him at the same time. Amusing to say the least in Naruto's mind. Part of them wished to break free of their chakra-suppressing chains to fight and avenge their dead master. He could sense several in the group just wanted to escape not just himself, but Konoha altogether, and find some measure of protection against the village that would no doubt seek to behead for their affiliation with Orochimaru. Alone! How amusing it is to see such defiant, yet terrified faces from each of you, said Naruto before letting out an amused chuckle. What is it you want? Why are we here together as a group? Said Kidomaru, while seeing the person responsible for Orochimaru's death look like he just gained their very souls. Because I don't want to talk to each of you one at a time. I want to talk to you as a group, said Naruto while crossing his arms in front of himself. About what exactly? Said Jirobo curiously. About the four of you joining me, said Naruto with the group looking at him like he was crazy. Are you fucking crazy? Exclaimed Taiyu while Naruto just let out an amused chuckle at her outburst. Perhaps. Still, it is an offer to consider. I would think you would all jump at the chance. It's either join me or be imprisoned if not executed. I find either such punishment to be a waste of talent and potential you each possess. Orochimaru saw potential, which is why he chose each of you to be his bodyguards, and that is not something to ignore lightly, explained Naruto.